Well, hello everybody. Welcome to 2026. This is Mitch Weisberg on MindShifting Mondays with Mitch, and I have my good friends Josh Chernikoff here today. Josh was the person who prompted me to do these initially, and so Josh, I think you've done like 7 or 8 or 9 of it, 9 MindShifting Mondays with Mitch, and we're kind of on a roll, right?
We are on a roll, and then because the holidays rolled in, I feel like I haven't seen you. I haven't gotten my mind shifting nor Mitch fill, so I'm here to really eat this up, and I know you've got something in store for me,
That's
so I'm
right.
even
That's right.
more excited
We're
about
gonna do, we're
mind
gonna we're
shifting.
gonna do a challenge, and I will say you may not have gotten your Mitch fill or your mind shifting fill, but I have it on good authority from my wife that she's had too much Mitch fill and too
Yeah,
much mind shifting
she
fill.
told
So
me.
I'm gonna share the wealth,
Yeah,
and we're,
thank
we're
you.
we're doing the session today.
Yeah.
So yeah, as I had mentioned, and we put into the announcement, we're going to have a challenge for you, and it's going to be based on something called the Wisconsin card matching test, and we're going to see how well you do. Let me pull this screen up here, and
And by challenge for you, you mean challenge for me.
it's a challenge for you exactly. And people are going to you're gonna go through it. I'll be scoring it, and then afterwards we'll go through and we'll discuss what happened, and we'll be discussing it from a mind shifting standpoint also. And the basis of the Wisconsin card matching test is that there's going to be three cards up on the top and then one card on the bottom, and you have to say which of the three cards on the top the card on the bottom belongs with. And so you'll look at the three, you'll look at the one, and then you'll choose one. And so we can start with an example. So like here's the example. You see the three cards on the top, one, two, three, and you'll choose which of those three does the card on the bottom go with. And this one won't count at all. So which one do you think it would go with?
I would say three.
You're right. Okay. And so
Oh, there's a
that would
right
count.
and wrong.
You're right. There's a right and wrong. Okay. And
Okay.
if you get it wrong, then I'll say wrong, and you'll get another chance. What we'll be counting is the ones that you get on the first one, but we'll go through all of them, so you get it. So you will end up with the right answer, and so we can move on to the next one. So you
Hmm.
ready?
Let's rock and roll.
Okay. All right. Let's go to the next one.
Um, I would say two.
Yes.
Huh. I would say two again.
No.
Why is that wrong?
I can't tell you, but it's wrong.
Oh, okay.
So choose another one.
Oh, I get one.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay. And then
Say three.
you got it.
Huh. I'm gonna say three again, but I feel like it's a lot of threes.
Nope.
No, it's not a lot of threes, or no, I got it wrong.
No, you got it wrong.
No, I would say one then.
Wrong.
Okay, last guess. I'm gonna go with two.
You got it. Okay.
Two,
Nope.
three,
Nope.
one.
Yep.
Damn, it's doing so well. Um, two,
Nope.
one.
Nope.
3.
Yep.
Oh no, this is not how I wanted to start 2026.
Hmm.
Uh, 2,
Nope.
3,
Nope.
1,
Got it. Okay.
3,
Nope.
1.
Nope.
Wow, 2.
You got it. Okay.
This were a season opener in baseball. It'd be down
Right. Right.
10 nothing in the
It's
first.
really interesting. Okay. Okay. Last one.
Oh, darn, I'm having so much fun. Um, 2,
Nope.
3.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, you got three right. Okay. Um, so let's just go. Let's kind of rewind this back. When you first started, and this was the practice one. Like, what were you feeling?
Um, Relatively confident
Okay.
because I got the first one right, but also I don't know why I got it right, so I was a little confused.
Ah. Okay. So it's interesting because what people look for is, so what's the pattern? So on this one, the answer was one. What's common between the one on the bottom and the number one card?
1 and 1.
They both have one, right?
Yep.
Okay. So then two, you also got right. And I'm sorry, you know something? I got that one
But it was number 3, right?
right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This first one, the answer was number three. The
Okay.
but and you hadn't gotten this one right. But the answer is number three. What does the card on the bottom have in common with card number three?
Color.
Got it. Okay. So then you got the next one right because you also this is also you chose color. You said it was two.
Yep.
Okay. And then the next one, for interesting, you got this wrong, but now what would you say would be the right answer?
1.
Right, because it's color. Okay. So at this point, most people, and you're doing this right now also, it's like you're not even looking for anything else, right? You're just looking at the color because you know it's related to the color, right?
Mhm.
So we go now to the next card. And so which would it be here?
3.
Well, that would be the rule. But what you didn't know is that we changed the rules on this card. And so you guessed three, but it's not three. And so eventually it was actually two. And what's common between the middle card and number two?
Number.
Right. Okay. And so at this point, looking at the next one,
2.
right?
1.
Right. And again, you're falling into the pattern, right?
3.
Got it. Yep.
1.
Um,
Unless you change the rules on me.
no, because this is the rule right here. Yes, one. I'm sorry. Right, you're right. One. I'm looking like there's one dot on number two, so I'm thinking no, but it's card number one. Right. You're right. You're right. You know, and again, um, okay, and then you get this because it's two, right? And then we changed the rules again, which you didn't know, and so you would have gotten this one wrong because we changed it back to color. And so the correct answer to this is three. Now where this comes into mind shifting is that in real life situations change all the time and we don't know the rules. And so we start off And eventually we figure something out and we come up with a rule. And then we get conditioned to look for that rule. But situations change. So knowing that it's ranked on number and then number and then number, and then all of a sudden you get on the number and you get it wrong, how do you feel at that point?
Like you hoodwinked me.
Exactly. You start judging the situation, either judging me or judging the situation or judging yourself. Like, I knew it was this. And a lot of people would persist. It's like, no, I know this is, I know that this should be matching two. Um, actually, we're on color. Sorry. I know this should be matching three. And so when I say wrong, it's like, no, you got it wrong. And so we would persist. But the fact of the matter is, sometimes situations change. And another aspect of situations changing is is the pressure that we bring on ourselves, especially when there are rewards. So what if you were doing this game and you got $10 for each one you got right on the first one, but you lost $15 for each one you got wrong, and then the rules changed. It
Hmm.
then becomes, what do you do to yourself?
I blame you.
Right. And you feel pretty, you're some bad feeling, either anger, right?
Hmm.
Um, or just blame, or um, but feeling that anger or feeling that blame or feeling down, does that affect positively your ability to continue to evolve and get this right and figure out what the next rule is?
It certainly affects your confidence, makes you, I feel like it made me start to second guess
Hmm.
myself. And so then, since I'm a big believer in gut instinct, then I'm like, well, maybe don't go with the gut, try something else. And so it really kind of throws your whole thought process into a tailspin.
And that applies to so many situations where we attach reward or punishment to results, where we say, we need this sale or my business fails. I need this sale or um, something bad happens, or I need this. I need to win this point, or I'm going to lose the set. And the more we put the pressure on us, actually, what the data shows is the worse we get, and the more we can pull ourselves back and say, well, you know something, I'm doing this for the game, and I got some feedback that the information is wrong. Okay, I'm back to equanimity. Let me see if I can figure out what the rule is so that I can get it so I can get it ready on the next one. And so that's really one of the basic whole bases of mind shifting, is to be able to realize I'm putting pressure on myself or I'm putting pressure on this other person. That's going to negatively affect their performance. How do I turn this back into a game, or how do I go back into a curious frame of mind rather than a pressure frame of mind,
Hmm.
so that I can just use the information as feedback. And
Interesting.
so that was kind of the lesson that I wanted from here, is that a situations change, and our immediate reaction, if we're not self-aware, is to blame anyhow. It's like, wait a minute, I know I had this right. I'm going to persist. I'm going to still guess number two. No, or I'm still going to guess number three. No, that's wrong. No, no, no. He must not have heard me. I'm going to say number three again. No, he must not have heard. I'm going to say it a little bit louder. Um, but no, the rules changed, and so to be able to be flexible, even in the face of where there's actual pressure, to be able to ignore that pressure and return ourselves back to a curious, playful point of view, so that we could just be using the information as feedback rather than using it to judge ourselves or the situation or to blame somebody else.
That's a tough one. Mitch, do you want to, can you tell our your audience
Right.
how they would use this, for example, in a classroom or uh, anywhere else. I mean, I guess like I understand the lesson that is learned,
Hmm.
um, but how would somebody use this if you're a business owner or if you're a teacher? How would they play the role of Mitch?
I have no idea. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Uh,
Oh,
um, yeah. So let's look at it first as a teacher and then in business. Okay. So you're a teacher and you're in a class and you've taught a certain way before and it's worked and it's worked the last three times you've taught this concept and now you're teaching the concept and most of the students aren't getting it.
mm,
And so what do? You say, I taught this before. I know I got it right. I guess maybe I have to just repeat it. Maybe I have to say it louder. Maybe the students, maybe it's just a dumb batch of students, whereas it might be that in the past you had, let's just say you had all white middle class students, and now all of a sudden, half of your students aren't white, and they don't have the same references, cultural references that you've been using to teach the information. And so, the more you're judging them or yourself for not having done it, the less likely you are to be resourceful. The more you say, "Oh, you know something? I just taught this. The students didn't get it. I wonder what I could try to get the students to get it this time and how that affects other lessons." And so you catch yourself. I was getting angry, I was getting frustrated. I calmed myself down. I did some meditation, I did positive self-talk or something. Now I'm back in the curious mode. Okay, I just taught this. Students didn't get it. What do I do? In business, you prepare for a talk with somebody who reports to you, and you delegated them something to do, and it worked. And then you delegate something else to maybe the same person, maybe another person, and it works. And then you delegate it to another person, and it doesn't work. Then you start thinking, gee, I'm doing this wrong. Or you start putting pressure on yourself. My gosh, if this doesn't go right, um, or something bad's going to happen to my business. I've got to take over and I've got to do it.
right.
Whereas if you can catch yourself and say, wait a minute, it's just like a situation changed. Let me calm myself down. Now, the situation was I taught it and people got, or I delegated and people got it. I delegated this time, people didn't get it. I wonder what that's telling me. What changed? What could I do differently? How is this situation different from the other situations so that I can become better and continue to improve?
Hmm. I guess for me, if I'm understanding this correctly, as the your guinea pig here, your human, uh,
Right.
that there are going to be situations. There are situations when I am growing my business where, as I'm managing somebody, that I might not know the circumstances that changed in their life. And while something worked one day, it might not work the next because I don't know the changes that occurred. And I don't necessarily need to lose my confidence or beat myself up. I need to kind of stay curious and figure out what change might have occurred so that we can get back to a better place.
Right. Right. We can get back to continuing to improve so that the next time you're even better and you're even better prepared.
Mm-hmm. And because you had this experience, and uh, I've had experiences with my team where, we're really intense. We're intense, loving people. So you can butt heads, but because you figure out what was different, maybe I had a bad night, maybe something changed in the algorithm we didn't know about. You learn about each other, and you say, okay, put that in a box. That experience is over. We figured it out. We move forward. and that's helpful.
Right, and that's a good part of mind shifting. That's in that first book, that stop your brain from sabotaging your happiness and success, because we get in those situations and we then put pressure on ourselves and we get upset, we get angry, and we blame, and then we're not resourceful, and we don't think critically, and we don't take in information because we're that's just the way the lizard brain, the limbic system operates, is that when we get upset, we are much less able to think critically, to be innovative, to be empathetic, to align what we're doing to our higher level goals. And it's only by catching ourselves and saying, wait a minute, this was just a situation. This is just feedback. How am I going to use this to improve? That we can then continue to build our businesses, teach our classes, um, uh, build a family, whatever it is that we're trying to do.
But there's really no way in that game you just showed me,
Hmm.
if you want to call it a game, that you can win, especially if I don't know you're changing the rules.
Well, okay. So in that game, at the point that the rules change, you're going to get one wrong. But when you
You can
get
get
the
it right.
next rule, the next one you can get right. So
Mhm.
if the rule is that's based on number, and you guess number, 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 and then all of a sudden number didn't work. Okay, I feel angry or I feel frustrated, but wait a minute, let me just figure out, was it color? Was it shape? Oh, it was shape. Okay. Next one, let me try shape. Let me try shape. Maybe it changes again. And we get that, with these algorithms that change all the time, right? We are used, we make some posts, and the posts get a lot of likes, or the posts get a lot of interaction, and then all of a sudden we find out that our same posts, our same advertisements, our same comments, we're not getting the exposure that we got before. Instead of getting angry, it's like, okay, I wonder how the algorithm has changed so that I'm not getting in front of the number of people I was getting before. What do I have to change in order to um, use this current algorithm better?
Mm. Yeah, it's when you texted me yesterday and said, you know, we're gonna have some fun. Uh, I purposely didn't ask more questions. My my mind doesn't go to that place of wondering and worrying.
Hmm.
Um,
So you didn't know you were going to make a fool of yourself then?
no,
Okay.
but when I so interesting, like this, I can relate this to a little bit. I've had a few surgeries in my life, for
Hmm.
example,
Uh,
one on my knee, one on my sinuses, um, on my thumb, and I always went into them kind of thinking like, hey, it's going to be all good, no worries.
hmm.
And I was always overwhelmed. Have always been overwhelmed at the recovery.
Yeah.
Um, and so I kind of went into this exercise thinking it's all good. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
Um, and but I don't necessarily. It's not that I wasn't paying attention to you, but I got to tell you, I wasn't necessarily looking for a pattern. I was kind of
Hmm.
just guessing.
Hmm.
And as I got the answers wrong, my confidence went down. I lost interest.
Hmm.
So um, that's just
Yeah.
me.
So somehow with this exercise, your critical thinking part didn't kick in,
My
right?
critical thinking part generally never kicks
No, no.
in.
I've worked with you for or and interacted with you for 2 years now, so it's funny, but it's not true. But it's so something about just this game or this challenge didn't lead you to think, something, I'm going to come up with the rule, which is what
Yeah.
one of the reasons why we went through it afterwards, and we went and explained the rules. And Maybe it's a so I could be in the frame of mind that's like, you know, Josh screwed this up. I could be in the frame of mind that, you know, something, I did this. I didn't, the person I was doing this with, it didn't trigger their critical thinking to come up with the rule. When I do this with somebody else next time, how do I explain it better so that they know they should be looking for a rule?
Yeah.
And so that's the mind shifting for me. Instead of blaming myself or blaming you or blaming the game, say, okay, so what I was expecting was that, somebody would look at this, they would come up with a rule. The first one would or wouldn't work, but then they would get it. They would continue with the rule. The rule would change. They get a little bit frustrated. Um, they might persist with the old rule because they were so sure that they were right, which a lot of people do. But eventually they would go to the new rule, and then the rules would change, and they get frustrated again. And then we could go and this and we could discuss that. And this turned out to be different.
I think it's a little bit for me. It's the mind of the entrepreneur, which hopefully I would imagine a lot of people out there can relate to who are listening. Which is, something I learned from a friend of mine, Elliot Neff, who's a chess expert. Fail first attempt in learning, and Alvin, who's produces this show
Hmm.
for you and is on my team as well, um, would tell you that I have no problems failing. And even today, we were working on something in a project management tool, Basecamp, and he started like 3 steps in. I was like, dude, I need you to go to step 0, as simple as that sounds. I need to see that first page. I
Hmm.
need to see you click and go and click and go and click and go. And then I learned it, and I believe now I'll be fine.
Hmm.
But I have no problem failing first
Right.
attempt at learning. And I believe that if we took this test again, I'd be perfectly fine. But my first time out of the gate for a lot of things, my wife would admit to this, I
Hmm.
don't necessarily listen, but I also don't necessarily, you know, um, uh, take losing that hard. Dust yourself off, and get back up again and go.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's interesting. Again, thinking about the critical thinking part, I'm thinking about, well, he was 4 when and just basically learning how to add and count. And and I showed him, like, 4 pieces of candy plus 2 pieces of candy, and it's like, so how many pieces of candy are there? And he said 4. And like, I knew that he wasn't thinking at that point. So it's like, are you sure? And then with the "Are you sure?" he was like, he takes a step back, he looks at it, and you can see the fingers growing. It's like, oh, 6. And then we drew it up, and then, but that got him to critically think. So you could have, or I could have in that situation, got angry and said, forget it. He's just never going to learn how to count, or he's never going to learn how to add, or he's
Mhm.
too young for this. But it's like, well, how can I adjust this so that he gets the benefit from it? And so that's what we do when we're resourceful, and that's what you tend to do that also.
Hmm. It's just so interesting as you're saying that. It takes me back to one of the reasons that I felt qualified to start a tutoring company when I was a subpar student. Um, I had a lot of tutors because eventually my family, my mom and my dad, got to a point where it was not really smart for my dad to teach me,
Hmm.
and he wanted to help, but it wasn't working out. And so as you're kind of talking through your tutoring session there, I'm going back to the tutoring sessions with my dad. Um, and so it's just so interesting how in business and in life, we are so impacted by things near, this game we just had, and things
Yep.
far. Back at One Hitching Post Place in Rockville, Maryland, with my dad, trying to teach me fractions, and I wasn't getting it.
Right.
but it can impact you in so many different ways. And you, Mitch, have no idea until I open my mouth to tell you that what you're saying is I've gone into this world back where I'm, 8 years old, and struggling with math, so it's kind of really underscores what you're saying is that you don't know what people are experiencing, and the rules changed on you just now
Right.
because you
Right.
were talking and I went to a different place.
And when the rules change and things don't work, our natural and our quick reflex is to judge, which then triggers fight, flight, freeze, which then inhibits our ability to think critically, to think creatively, to align our actions to what we really want. And so then we have to be self aware, say, well, wait a minute, I'm feeling anxious here or angry here, or I'm judging this. Let me calm myself down. What do I really want to happen? Do some breath work, some mind shifting, mindfulness if you want to. And then now, how can I be resourceful in this situation? And that's really what this game was designed to illustrate.
Hmm. Makes me think this is a very long season.
Yes,
Life,
life.
selling, learning, and it's a long season, and the rules are going to change on you over and over again.
Yep, yep. And so, you want to take us home? Like, what did you learn from this session?
Mm, what did I learn from this session? I'm not sure. I learned a lot, fine, but more importantly, reinforced for me that I am meant to be an entrepreneur. That I'm able to step into a situation like this. By the way, literally 3 minutes before I was on the phone with a banker because we're doing a refinance and
Hmm.
rock and roll. Let's go. I have no problem. Don't know how many people are listening to this or will see it. Um, Failing in front of people because I know as a person that it's my first try.
Yep.
And as my dad always said, and we will be putting this on a bench
Mm.
uh, next to him where he is buried. You grow up and you grow not down.
Right, right.
And I think it's also super interesting that my wife just walked by and your wife just walked
Just walk
by.
by. Right.
What do we learn from that?
That wives will walk by.
That we work from home.
But my wife had a cast. Your wife didn't have a cast.
No. How is your wife doing?
Uh, Good. She's on a much smaller cast now. She has no pain, and she's probably another 2 weeks with the cast. Then she's free.
That's
So
good. I'm glad to
yeah,
hear.
so it's good. Okay, so you learned that you can get yourself into resourceful mode, um, and next week is we're having an instructional designer from Finland who's going to be talking about mind shifting and a course that she developed to teach resourcefulness. So that's what we'll be talking next week with mind shifting with Mitch.
Thanks for having me.
So
Make it like a
Josh,
moron.
Josh, thank you so much for coming,
Thanks, man.
and thank you everybody